All right, let's welcome Peter from RateSetter.
Hi, everybody. I wasn't quite sure what was called for here, so I think we've got 7 minutes, I think, and we'll probably be wrong, but I think I've got 7 little slides about RateSetter. I'm going to try and tell you a little bit about us and what we do and what's going on in our world. I'm one of the founders of the business, and my title is technically COO, although I don't do very many operations because I'm a bit chaotic. That's Mo Farah, for those of you that don't know. He won a medal at the Olympics, so he was about the only British success story we could think of at the moment. Peer-to-peer, obviously everybody's excited about peer-to-peer. It's on the charge. That's what this is all about. In the UK in 2013, I think the industry grew about 107%, and RateSetter grew 219, so we are growing pretty well. Those charming people behind it were a little stunt we did in the city of London. We dressed some people up as zombies to identify to the world that there is a problem with what we call zombie bank accounts, which is a recognized term in the UK. And a zombie bank account is a bank account that pays you less than the rate of inflation. And for those of you that like stats, over 80% of the United Kingdom savings accounts pay less than the rate of inflation. And we thought this was something that people should be aware of. So we sent these charming people around London, and it got picked up by most of our national newspapers. And it was to suggest, obviously, that they would get a better return in RateSetter. giffgaff is a subsidiary of Telefonica, who are a mobile phone company. In the UK, their main mobile phone brand is a company called O2, and giffgaff is a subsidiary of O2 that do SIM-only deals. giffgaff thought this is fine. giffgaff are a brand that launched a year before RateSetter. So they launched in 2009, we launched in 2010. They've now got 1 million customers, so that's 1 million people buying SIM cards for their mobile devices, their tablets, whatever. But they wanted to get into providing proper mobile telephones at the same time. We are financing their mobile phone handsets in quite an interesting tie-up. So we got all into the detail of it with them and shared mobile phone credit data and fraud systems and all of this good stuff. And we now finance all of those things, which we think is we're certainly the first peer-to-peer to partner with a major mobile company, and I think it's quite an interesting route of how far you can push this product. In March, this was very exciting, we were the biggest UK peer-to-peer lender based on our monthly volumes. So we were the third people to the party. Zopa came first in 2005. Were the first people to set up the industry. Funding Circle launched about 4 months before us, I think, in 2010. And we were quite excited, and we've always been regarded as the little guy because we came after, but we were bigger than the others in March. And we feel that gives us a right to be heard, I suppose. In the UK, peer-to-peer got regulated on the 1st of April. I don't know if Lisa spoke about regulation at all. Did you talk about regulation? So regulation is a hot topic in this world, I think. We worked very hard with Funding Circle and Zopa to persuade the government to regulate us, which they agreed to do. We then have spent quite a lot of time with some very friendly regulators telling them how they should regulate it. And remarkably, they've listened. So in the UK, we have a fantastic regulatory template for how these businesses should operate. We've told them what we think the risks are, how they should protect the lenders, how they should protect the borrowers. They've listened, and we think that gives us enormous credibility. This was another stunt. We dressed somebody up in bubble wrap and dropped him down some stairs to demonstrate that no saver has ever lost a penny on RateSetter. We innovated with a thing we call the provision fund. So every borrower puts a little bit of money into our provision fund, and that protects the lenders should a loan go bad. So nobody has ever lost a penny. So when people talk about net yields and all of this stuff, which is very prevalent in the chat upstairs, that's not something we worry about on RateSetter. This is a product that has been designed for consumers. It's designed to be simple and safe and easy for them to understand. And it is a savings alternative rather than anything else, really. We are going to Australia because, everybody likes to ask if you're going to be global. I don't think we have any great aspirations to be global, but we've got some very, very good Antipodean people who seem to think that it's ripe for RateSetter. I am inclined to agree with them. The banking market there is, they've got 4 banks, they've got nobody else who does any finance. They are the most profitable banks in the world. The spreads are absurd. It is ripe for peer-to-peer disruption. So we're charging over there. We're going to chase kangaroos and do peer-to-peer lending. In July, I think this is our charming Chancellor, who, for those of you that don't know, is the man in charge of the UK's finances. He's slightly smug and a bit irritating, but he has announced that we are going to get access to the equivalent of an American IRA. Is that what we call IRA? So we're going to get, savers can put their money into these platforms tax-free, which we think will open up a sort of consumer tsunami of cash, which is very exciting. So look, I've done that in 6 minutes. So if anybody has any questions, I would be delighted to burble as quickly as I just have. I can't have answered it all. Rob. That's a long question. I've been banging the drum. I think that basically institutional money allows you the opportunity to scale up very fast. So we did, I can't do the maths, but I guess we did $35 million last month-ish. If we want to do $40 million next month, that's easy. My consumers can grow that. If I want to do $45 million, that's probably easy. If I want to do $100 million next month, I probably need some of our institutional friends to help us bridge that gap. I philosophically really like helping people, so I'm quite up for the consumer side of it, but I appreciate that one occasionally has to dance with the devil.
I have a question, actually. So, you know, as I'm somebody who I run a peer-to-peer lending blog for people in the United States to try to get retail investors going. And one of the things that we try to talk about is how, I mean, all these people have these savings accounts where they're earning less than inflation, like what you're talking about.
It's insane.
It's insane. Did you say 80% of savings accounts?
79% of UK savings accounts are zombie accounts earning less than inflation.
That's a clever term. But anyway, as we're trying to kind of break open the awareness of saying, hey, you're a normal person, peer-to-peer lending or consumer lending or whatever allows you to get put this money to work, which is otherwise sitting there losing to inflation, even in a savings account. Just trying to create that awareness. What is some of the? I mean, I love some of the public, kind of. I don't know what you would call those things that you've done, but
stunts.
Talk about how are you creating that awareness?
So I think historically, frankly, our awareness, it's very low. I mean, if we were to go out in the street in the middle of London and say, have you ever heard of RateSetter, Zopa or Funding Circle? I mean, everyone would just go, who?
Yeah, we have the same problem about Lending Club and Prosper here in the US.
The big challenge, certainly in the UK, is that the UK consumer has been bashed into the deepest state of apathy by depressing banks and the fact that all their savings earn nothing. So they don't care. They're just like fed up and done with it. PR has been a very key tool for all of us, and we have been getting a disproportionate amount of PR for the size of our industry, which is very helpful. And I think we are all starting marketing, and it's interesting to see what works. If you go on the London Underground, you will see a Funding Circle advert. I guarantee you, you'll see a nice man holding a bottle of gin telling you that you can get 7% on your savings. If you read, I mean, we're trying, we're starting, but it's very early stages, and I don't think anybody knows quite what works.
Right.
Lending Club and Prosper are trying it here, we're all trying.
Yeah.
In 20 years' time, will everybody see this as a normal way to save? I hope so.
Yeah. Well, me too. Let's thank our speaker.
Thank you, everybody.